What is autism? Well, autism is a neurological disorder, and basically it's a term used to describe developmental delays in children. There are 3 early signs and symptoms for autism. 1 is speech, 2 is social interaction, and 3 is repetitive behavior. Typically with children, speech starts anywhere from like 8 to 12 months. By 16 months, they can generally speak 2 to 3 words. By 18 months, they can use 2-word phrases, and they label objects and people. They also nod their head no and shake their head yes for certain objects, and they can identify those things. With an autistic child, those things are completely absent. With social interaction, it's generally very limited with an autistic child. They don't play with other children. They normally will play by themselves over in another vicinity, but around the children, but there's no actual interaction going on. They have very limited emotion. Even family members draw little response for them. Most children are very excited to see their parents and identify them immediately. With an autistic child, they really don't treat them any differently than they would a stranger. As far as the repetitive behavior goes, they like to line their toys up like toy cars. They'll line in straight lines instead of actually playing with the cars. Or they like to do the same activity over and over, like going down the same slide or up and down the stairs back and forth. Routines are also very important to autistic children. They like to take the same route. They like to do things the same way. And if they're thrown off that routine, it can be very, very upsetting for them. How many people does autism affect each year? Well, here in the United States, it affects 1 in every 150 children, which is considered an alarming rate compared to past decades. There is really concern over this enormous growth rate. Some believe that the disease is just more commonly diagnosed now due to increased awareness. People are more aware of autism and what it is and what signs to look for, so more and more kids are being diagnosed with it versus before. But back in 1970, only 1 in every 10,000 kids was diagnosed, and in 2002 it was 1 in every 1,500. Researchers are scrambling to understand what might be causing this. What causes autism? Well, there's several theories, but nothing's actually been proven. They really don't have an answer for what causes it. A lot of people think that it's vaccines. They think that the metals in the vaccines are causing kids to become autistic that weren't born autistic. That's why typically with autistic kids, they'll start saying words and talking and developing normally, and then as they get vaccines, they kind of regress backwards. They stop talking. They stop the development, and that's why people feel like it's associated with the vaccines. They also believe there's toxins in the air and in the food that we eat that cause kids to be autistic. And they also feel like because there's worse pollution now, that's what's led to increased diagnoses. And how kids are diagnosed are the behaviors and the developmental delays that we talked about earlier. They have to be diagnosed by a medical professional, and here in Kansas, I think KU Med Center is what normally does the diagnosing, as well as TARC just had a program where they have a team of people that can test and diagnose autism now. 3 is typically the youngest age they diagnose. Even if they have suspicions and they suspect that a kid has signs and symptoms of it, they normally wait until the age of 3 to actually diagnose. There are resources out there for parents with autistic kids. There's a group called Autism Speaks, which uses the alternative methods for treatment, like the gluten-free diet and the casein-free diet. And there's a team of doctors that believe this way is the best. And it's very, very expensive for people, though. If you don't have the money or the resources to do it, it's not really an option. But here in Topeka, they have TARC, which is a great resource for people. It's free of charge. They come out, they work with your kid, they have a whole team of people. They have developmental pediatricians, social workers, developmental specialists. There's all kinds of people that come out and work to try to help the child with their speech and their development and their anger and all of those things. The alternative treatments we talked about, the gluten-free diet, gluten is a protein that's found in wheat. And casein-free diet, the casein is a protein that's found in milk. And there is a whole list of things I'm going to show you. Now, these are some of the food items. Salad dressings, marinades, soy sauce. Spices, anything with spices in the ingredient list. Gravy, ice cream, yogurt, dried fruit, non-stick cooking spray, chewing gum, candy mints, ketchup, infant formula, processed meats. And those are just a few of the things. And then there's even some non-food items that you should avoid. And those are any kind of adhesive, including that in Band-Aids, lickable stamps, stickers, school supplies including glue, modeling clay, soaps in bar and liquid form, shampoo, conditioner, any kind of lotion or sunscreen, dental floss, toothpaste, mouthwash. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And again, without the proper education or the proper funding, you're not going to be able to afford this kind of diet as well. There's so many things that have gluten and casein in them that it's very difficult to do. Plus, I watched a couple of videos on kids who are on these diets, and you're looking at 5- and 6-year-old kids that have a massive amount of pills that they take on a daily basis. And not all kids diagnosed with autism share the same problems or outcomes. I mean, every kid's different. Even with autistic kids, they're all different. So they like to say, instead of they're autistic, that they fall into an autism spectrum. And the bottom line is parents are willing to do almost anything to help their children, no matter the cost. But some of these treatments are just beyond even what they can do.